Yo, what's happening, everybody? Welcome in to a brand new episode of Snaps. It is Tuesday, which means it is time to preview the college football weekend that will be. And on the docket today, we got the big one, Indiana, Ohio State. We got Ole Miss and Florida. We got Colorado and Kansas. We got Army versus Notre Dame, neutral site. We got BYU at Arizona State. I am TBob Bear. He is Aaron Murray. Aaron, what's up, brother?
What's up? Hope everyone's having a great week so far. Let me ask you this question real quick before we dive into the games, T.
Yo.
I think Fox does an incredible job with the big noon kickoff. Really, really good. Like the pregame show, the actual production. You know I'm a fan of Joel Klatt all of a sudden as of late. I think they do a really good job. But it's a noon kickoff, and for a lot of teams, it's an 11 a.m. kickoff. Yeah. Ohio State has had like 6 of these this year. How shitty is that? Because you're the opposite, because you're an LSU
from
guy.
From my perspective, because I would love to talk to an Ohio State guy about this. Yeah. Which, speaking of which, maybe we should get like Bobby Carpenter on Thursday. But from my perspective, I think it sucks, right? Yeah. Because I always associate big games with night, primetime television, but also the culture of kind of SEC college football is that 2:30 slot and or night games where, like, I don't know, we would have to have some of our Big Ten listeners maybe weigh in here, because sometimes I feel like the culture of the Big Ten is having massive games at 11 a.m. and
11 a.m.
I know, but that's what I mean.
Freaking early.
But, like, remember, maybe partially, I guess, because of weather, like, wasn't it like a big deal when the Big Ten announced they would even do night games in these new TV contracts?
I don't know if it was weather. I feel like some of the stadiums even have, like, lighting to handle it.
Is it true? What is this, the fucking 30s? But, like, I guess what I'm just dancing around saying is I'm not educated enough with the Big Ten pulse and that part of the country, the average college football fan, how they feel about it to weigh in. For me, I would not want to play this game at 11 a.m. I'd want to be under the lights in prime time with 15 million people watching, whatever. But then again, Michigan? When was Michigan Ohio State last year?
I think those have all been noon because it's a big noon kickoff.
Yeah, and they get like 20 million people watching. So I think it's just maybe what's the
difference between watching and like having? Listen, they do it. They do it because it's a big game, and they do it because they have to. There's no doubt about it. But from a fan perspective, you got to wake up at the fucking ass crack of dawn. As a player perspective, you have to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning for an 11 o'clock game.
Yeah.
It's once again, like, it's not ideal. I don't think anyone would prefer it.
Whereas we've been trained that if you're playing at 11 a.m., you're playing in a shitty game.
Probably.
That nobody cares about. I would say I have seen some complaints about like Fox Big Noon Kickoff making some of these really big games take place at noon. And I would say that's a very simple fix. You know what? This might sound dumb. I don't believe that the Fox Big Noon Kickoff game has to be at noon. I think you could just do it at night.
Why can't you just put it at 3:30? Just put it at 3:30.
No, that's what I'm saying Fox Big Noon Kickoff is just a pregame show. Yes. They don't need to be so married to the idea that they have.
But the way they pitched it and the way they've got people excited is for that noon kickoff. And that's just how I view it, because they've done it for so long now, and to me, that's how they have pitched it.
I know, but the deal is it's not a hard marketing change because everything kicks off at noon. So you just talk about how because it's a game day show.
But I don't even know if it's. But I would say from their perspective, at the end of the day, too, they for so long were going against that CBS 3:30 primetime SEC game.
Yeah, they don't want.
They don't want to compete with that. Like now, when I think of noon, I do think of the Fox game. I think of 3:30. I previously thought about the CBS game. Now I think of whatever ABC game's on, and then obviously the night game. I think of Herb Street at the primetime game. So like they are in a spot right now, like they feel like they own the noon window. So I don't think they want to necessarily get rid of that, because if you look at the noon slot, you're going to most of the times watch that big noon game because it's probably going to be the best game at noon. They know that, and I don't think they're going to move it.
No, that's fair. That's a good call. That's a good call.
It just sucks. That's where they're pigeonholed right now.
But help me out here. So we're not previewing Indiana Ohio State yet, but is that the 2:30 CBS game?
Which one?
Indiana, Ohio State. Or is that at 11?
That's the big noon game.
Oh, it's the big noon game.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm getting confused with my television contracts. Why would that not be the 2:30 CBS game?
What do you mean, Indiana, Ohio State? Fox gets first pick.
Okay, Fox gets first pick.
Yes.
So CBS lost the SEC contract and doesn't even get first pick of the Big Ten game for the 2:30 slot?
No, I think Fox, the majority of the time, Fox gets the first pick, and then I think NBC and CBS rotate the second pick. So, like, this is the CBS.
What a fucking disaster for CBS and Gary Danielson and company.
Have you seen the CBS's games this year that they've had?
No, I barely watched them. And every time I hear Gary, I just feel so sad for him and Brad.
This week, it's Penn State at Minnesota.
Minnesota's okay.
6-4.
But, like, 2:30 used to be they would get their pick of the litter, SEC. Like, if this was the SEC, this would have been the 2:30 game. So that's why I find that to be surprising that I didn't know Fox got first pick. Wow.
I'm with AK in the chat here. AK, I haven't watched CBS hardly at all this year. I think I've maybe watched one of those games.
I don't think it's got main. Well, was Penn State USC the 2:30 slot?
Yes.
I remember that one.
Yes. Yep.
God, what a bummer, man. All right, so we're gonna have a good show today. As always, guys, please like, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the show. And yes, Aaron did get a fresh new fuckboy fade. It's not full stolen valor this time around. It's not that, but it's not the most extreme that we've seen, but it looks good. Clean shaven. Looking good. I prefer thick Aaron personally.
I'm thick right now. I'm about 6 pounds over from where I started the season. I got to lose some weight.
Hey, you know how somebody's not fat when they talk about being 6 pounds overweight, like shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but 6 will turn into 10 after next week. That's the problem.
Okay, whatever. Who cares? Who cares?
Okay.
Just eat Thanksgiving food. You'll be fine.
I got to go to the beach for vacation the week after that.
And?
Okay.
Who are you going with?
The family.
Okay. Are you trying to bang your mom?
No, but I want Sharon to look at me and want me.
I think
in public.
I think you're probably doing just fine. I think you're probably doing just fine in that regard. I don't think you could eat enough food to get fat before this beach trip. Like, I don't think you have the time. So I think you're okay. I would say whatever body dysmorphia issues you're having, just shuttle them to the side.
Sorry, we will get to these previews. Did I ever tell you the Todd Gurley story before Thanksgiving, my senior year? Todd came in, Todd was always trying to do stupid stuff. Todd on like Sunday, Monday, this might have been junior. I forgot what year it was. Junior, senior year. He looked at me and goes, I want to see if I can gain about 10 to 12 pounds this week. I was like, all right, Todd, whatever you want to do, buddy. He puts on, no lie, I think 12 to 15 pounds in 1 week.
Legend.
Still ran for over 200 yards against Georgia Tech.
Yeah, he was bulking. He was just carbo loading. Yeah. That's all it was, dude.
Yeah.
So not even the tryptophan could slow him down. They always just talk about that in high school, that the tryptophan and the turkey was going to make you sleepy.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, coach, I won't eat anything. Bitch, I ate all that turkey.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, I'm out of here. Okay, before we begin, what's your favorite Thanksgiving meat?
I am a ham all day. I don't eat turkey.
Over turkey.
We won't even make turkey. We do ham and roast beef.
Don't even make turkey.
Nope. We gave that up a few years ago.
We as in who? You and your immediate, like you and your wife, or
no,
like
your
entire
mom family, everyone. We prefer the roast beef as a family.
No turkey on Thanksgiving at all?
None.
Not a single to be found?
Not a piece of turkey will be found in my household next Thursday.
Well, okay, I gotta say, I agree with Chad here. Then, whoever was making your turkey fucked up, because like well-made Thanksgiving turkey is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. You were getting some dry ass
disappoint
turkey.
Everyone.
I mean, like you what a depressing table, Michael Bragg. I agree. So
it's a damn good table. It's a hell of a table.
I mean, obviously you're not brining the bird correctly. I've
never made a turkey before, so I don't know. I don't do any of the cooking.
Oh,
I just know when we would put out a roast beef, turkey, and ham by the end of dinner, there was a lot of turkey left and not much of everything else. So we're like, you know what? Why force it on the people if we obviously know what the people want? They want the ham. They want the roast
no
beef.
leftover turkey sandwiches?
Nope. Some roast beef sandwiches, some ham sandwiches.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I know.
For you and your family. You don't even know what you're missing.
No, we do know. We've had it. We had it my whole life to about 4 years ago. So we know
bad turkeys. You had bad turkeys. I'm not trying to disparage who's ever cooking the turkeys, but it's bad turkeys.
Next time LSU is a good football team, when you come to Atlanta for the SEC championship game, you can bring me some turkey.
I mean, you got to understand the amount of run you get out of a turkey around these parts. So not only are you immediately eating the turkey and it's delicious, then you have your turkey sandwiches. But what I love to do, you take all those turkey bones, you make yourself a stock, you get all the leftover turkey meat, and then you make a badass Thanksgiving turkey gumbo. And you can throw the leftover ham in there as well. But that stock made from the turkey, oh my God, dude. Oh, wow. Sorry, dude. I'm sorry. I've actually, so Beaumont area asked if you ever had fried turkey. I've actually never had fried turkey.
I've never had fried turkey.
I've always talked about that today. That's a big Louisiana. I don't know if it's a Louisiana thing. It's a big thing around these parts. Yeah, big Southern thing. But I've never, I've always just had like tradition. I think making the turkey, though, is one of the most fun things in the world. You brine it for a couple days beforehand and all your little spices and everything else. Then on actual game day, you're cooking it all day. You're basting it. You're eating deviled eggs the entire time you're doing that. You're getting more and more drunk as the day goes on. After the turkey's done, then you make the gravy with the drippings right there, the fresh gravy. You don't even have fresh gravy. You don't even have fresh gravy.
No gravy.
I guess roast beef gravy. Oh,
yeah, roast beef gravy. Sorry, T. Sorry.
Anyway, it's all good. It's all good. All right, let's move on. Thanks, guys. Sorry that our beginning bullshit here went a little long. I just couldn't help that. It is a great family activity. I mean, but okay, we'll do a Thanksgiving show next week. Yeah. Because also I got to talk about deviled eggs on Thanksgiving Day. The best thing, the best. All right, let's start. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Shut up, Aaron. I have to cut this into a YouTube video. Okay, be quiet. Stop laughing. We can't have you just randomly laughing in the intro. 3, 2, 1. Indiana at Ohio State in what some are calling maybe the biggest game in Indiana Hoosier history, Aaron. Here you have the losingest team all time in Division I college football. The Indiana Hoosiers ranked number 5, hitting the road to take on Ohio State. Indiana's coming off of a bye. Indiana's lost. How about this? Fun fact. Indiana has lost to Ohio State 28.
Ooh, it's the most, correct?
They have not. I don't know. I haven't seen that. But I do know they have not won since 1988, which means that they have not won this game since we have been alive on this earth, Aaron Murray.
Wow.
And, I was interested in this game before, but after your crap you tried to pull yesterday and everybody else out there, Feinbaum and all the rest of you radical SEC boys out there, I could not be cheering harder for Indiana to kick some ass on Saturday and take down the Buckeyes.
I'm cheering for Indiana too. I'm not here to wave my Ohio State flag or anything. I want a good football game. I just need them to prove it to me. I said it yesterday. I'll say it now. If Indiana is competitive and it's a good football game, I'm for it. If Indiana gets blown out and it's a double-digit loss and it looks bad, then I'm not for them at 11-1 getting in over said Tennessee. That's it. Prove it to me, buddy. You have Indiana. You haven't played a team with a winning record besides one. You have a win over. You're coming off a bye week to prepare. You've had 2 weeks to prepare for Ohio State. If you can't make this game competitive, your one game this year against a decent football team, if you can't make it competitive, you don't deserve to be in the playoffs.
Coming
off a bye week.
I'm not making, okay. That's my fault for opening the door. I don't want to make this into another playoff conversation right now. No. I'll say this real quick to chat. No, I have not been on Reddit. These are not Reddit takes. Ox in the shop says, TBob, you're an SC hater because LSU sucks. Ask Aaron. Aaron, we've been doing this show for a couple of years. Have I ever once said that I cheer for the SEC? I have consistently said that I hope everybody in the SEC that I am not from a fan perspective, not from an analyst, from a fan perspective, I hope every other SEC team loses every single game. I don't give a shit about conference pride. I have none of it. I think the people that do, I think they're kind of cucks a little bit, I mean, that's all I'm saying. Like what? Like you can't do it right, so you want somebody else to do it right for you? Not this guy. If I can't do it, I don't want anybody to do it. So no, I have no conference pride whatsoever.
You just want your wife just to lay there unsatisfied and pissed off her whole life? That's what the feeling you got?
Well, that's two different things. I mean, if we're talking about that, no, I mean, I'd be open to helping her out in that regard if she needed it. But like in the football field, yes, my football wife, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
She's gonna lay there.
Anyway.
All right, listen, I like Indiana. You like Indiana. I think everyone not everyone, but a lot of people have flipped their switch on Indiana this week because of now the controversy of where things are going to end up with the playoffs. But if you would have asked everyone a week ago, how do you feel about the Hoosiers? We're like, I love it. We love Signetti. We love the story. We love their offense. We love their defense. We love everything about this team this year. There's no doubt about it. I think this is a
You don't believe in them, though. You don't believe they're good. You believe they're okay. You don't believe they're good.
No, you don't believe I believe they're good. I 100% believe they're good. It's a deserving thing in my mind. It is a deserving thing in my mind more than anything. Let's not get into the playoffs here. Let's not get into.
I'm not saying I'm not getting into the playoffs, but you can't tell me that you think they're so good and all this stuff, and then you obviously don't.
I think a lot of teams are good. I think South Carolina's good, but they're not going to make the playoffs either. I think the team's really good without me believing that they deserve to be one of the 12 teams in the playoffs.
This Indiana team is legitimate. They have the highest rated quarterback in the entire country according to PFF. Curtis Rourke has a 92.3 PFF grade. Okay, he's the second highest rated, a rating of 182. They have an offensive line that is made up of guys that were already there. I mean, the entire class is filled with seniors.
Yeah,
on both sides of the ball. The front seven is one of the most disruptive in the entire country. Kamara's a beast. And with so many JMU transfers as well, remember, these are guys, not only they're very experienced, they're all upperclassmen, all they've done is win. Oh, yeah. Everywhere they've been. Okay. It's all they do is win. They constantly beat the spread. They constantly beat expectations. This game's going to be no different. This is just like when everybody was crapping all over Washington last year and telling us that Oregon's going to smoke them. Oregon's going to smoke them. What did Washington do? No, Indiana, like that Washington team, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, and it has an elite quarterback, okay? And look, they're going to be tested because this Ohio State defense is incredible, and I am worried, honestly, about the Indiana offensive line against the Ohio State pass rush. We'll have to see how they can hold up. That Ohio State secondary's great, but like Indiana's a legitimately top 10 football team in the entire country. And I am so excited for Curtis Rourke because this is his opportunity to get over. Now, as I said, I think he's fighting an uphill battle. I could see it going badly, but I hope it goes well. Here's a cat who was the number one ranked recruit coming out of Canada back in high school, but that still only put him like 2,200 in the country. He had to go to the MAC at Ohio to find his way. But again, all he does is win back-to-back 10-win seasons at Ohio. 2022 MAC Offensive Player of the Year, tears his ACL week 12 of 22, comes back, and now here he sits on the edge of greatness.
All right.
I think Indiana's going to – I don't think they win the game, especially because it's on the road. But I do think Indiana keeps this close and acquits themselves well.
Just like yesterday, in which TBob brought up Georgia's schedule a year ago, and then I had to tell him, like, look at all the big time wins they had. You bring up Washington. Let me just tell you about Washington's schedule last year and why the feeling. I'm not talking
playoffs. I'm not talking playoffs. I'm talking about the fact that everybody just said that Oregon was going to smash Washington.
But at least they proved it to us week in and week out last year. They beat a 9-3 Arizona. They beat Oregon twice. They beat a ranked USC team in November. They beat a ranked Utah team in November. They beat a ranked Oregon State team in November. They won big time games.
I don't understand your point. You're making it. No, stop.
Why we could doubt them? They at least showed up and played big time games and won them. We have not seen them do that. They're not the same. They're not the same.
You're misconstruing the point. The point of the Washington point was, okay, even though Washington showed you all that in the rematch against Oregon, everybody still had Oregon smashing them because of all the same reasons. Oregon had more talent. They have more talent on the talent composite. They're better. Exactly. They're better on paper. But all I'm saying is Washington is a team where the whole was greater than the sum of its parts. Indiana is that same style team. I'm not comparing resumes. I'm just saying, and what else do they have in common? An elite coach that all he knows how to do is win. Elite quarterback, elite coach, a whole's greater than the sum of its parts. Kalen DeBoer, why did he get that Alabama job? Because he did more with less than anybody in the entire country. Kurt Cignetti right now is doing more with
receiver,
less.
Quarterback, the best.
Yeah, but he pushed it. That was not really the best offensive line coach. They were good. But that was
voted. They got voted at it.
I'm not. Yeah, remember what happened?
I agree with you on this.
Don't Kublik beat you up there.
I don't want to piss Kublik off again after
No, okay, but Washington pushed it to a national championship. Washington was better than Indiana. Yes, look at the receivers. Absolutely, I'm with you. Like Indiana, I don't believe is going to the Natty. But so again, my point is just that they are better than everybody's giving them credit for, and everybody's just so in their head about high school recruiting rankings and talent composites and all this bullshit. And I am very excited for Indiana to prove everybody wrong this weekend. And I think they will. I think Ohio State's good, but I don't know that Ohio State's great. What have they done? The same thing Indiana's done. Beat the shit out of everybody else in the Big Ten.
Well,
you give them credit for losing to Oregon?
They beat Penn State on the road. That was impressive.
No, that was a good win. That's fair.
That was a good win. On the road, hostile environment. That's a good
Ohio State is does have the better resume.
Yep.
And is a better team. I believe this. But the gap in terms of what they've done, I don't believe is that large. I'm
with you. I don't think it's that large either. I'm not disagreeing with you. Listen, they've had 2 ranked games. They lost by a point by Oregon after a questionable pass interference call on offense that could have given an opportunity to kick a field goal to win. They beat Penn State on the road. So they have at least been tested. Indiana, we talk about this with other teams like say in the SEC.
They got tested by Michigan.
Yeah, they got tested by Michigan. I agree with that a little bit. But that's still not a top tier team they got tested by. Ohio State's been against 2 of the best teams in America, both on the road have been tested. Why do we feel so good about Georgia a lot of times? Because they've been on the road and been tested. Same thing with Ohio State. I'm not dissing Indiana here once again. I like Indiana. I like the roster. I like the coach.
Here's the deal. Ohio State played at Michigan State. They won 38-7. Yep. Indiana played at Michigan State. They won 47-10. Ohio State played at home against Nebraska. They won 21-7. Indiana played at home against Nebraska. They won 56-7. Do we have any other common opponents on this list? I think that may be it for now. But I'm just trying to reinforce the point here that it's whatever. The point, y'all hear what I'm trying to say.
I think Indiana coming off a bye week, an opportunity to really scheme up this defense, which at times this year has been vulnerable. I'm interested to see what Connecticut has. I think they're going to hit some big plays. I think they may be able to punch them in the mouth early. I think you may even have an Indiana team that's up in the first or second quarter.
Yeah.
They come out hot. Can they sustain 4 quarters against the big boys in the trenches? To me, that's going to be the difference. Can they get guys open? Can they hit a couple explosives? 110% they can. Can they sustain it for 4 quarters? That's what I'm interested to see.
I do think the Hoosiers coming off the bye with Cignetti's skill set, which remember, if you read about Cignetti, people describe his ability to game plan and find angles where they can get advantages as like a borderline superpower. But yeah, I agree. Ultimately, the talent of, Ohio State's put $20 million into this roster.
Yeah.
They have to win this game. It would be a massive, inexcusable failure were they to lose this game, especially at home. And I do believe that overall on a man-to-man basis, they're more quality in the trenches. I do agree that secondary can be suffocating. And so I think Ohio State wins the game in the end. But I do think Indiana covers. I think they quit themselves well.
If Ohio State loses this game, are they out of the playoffs?
Would they?
Let's put it to the test. Ohio State versus Tennessee. 2 lost teams. Tennessee beat Alabama. Ohio State beat Penn State.
I think it would be very tough to keep Ohio State out the playoffs, but I don't know. I mean, we'd have to cross that road. We'd have to cross that road when we get there. Okay, so where does Indiana? Would you say Indiana has the advantage at quarterback, and basically that's it?
I mean, I wouldn't say like it's a massive gap, though. You know how I feel about Will Howard. I think Will Howard's
no, I know Will Howard's good. I don't mean it like that. I'm just trying to play the game of like who has the advantage where, right? Because you'd probably give every other position group to Ohio State.
I think you'd give but I also do not want to fall in love because Ohio State's offensive line came out and dominated the last game of like, oh my God, they're cured up front. Like I'd still need to see, or like the last, like their big challenge versus was it Penn State? We're like, oh my goodness, this offense line is great now. Like, can they do it against a good team again and again and again and again? I think to me personally, I will continue to question Ohio State's offensive line until they start stringing it together week in and week out against good teams. They have an opportunity this week, and they'll have an opportunity next week against Michigan to really show that this team is somewhat bulletproof. Because I like Will Howard, I love the running backs, I love the receivers, I love the defense. So yes, there's really. I guess if you want to say that if there's a coin toss area in this game, it would be the quarterback spot, because I would take either one of these quarterbacks right now.
Yeah. So I would say, I guess the other thing I'm battling against here is like, I just think Ohio State's one of the least cool brands in the entire country. And Indiana is one of the most likable underdogs. If we're just keeping it completely real,
100%.
Like
it comes down
if you're not,
it comes down to the coaches too.
What?
Well, likability, but also I put this in the notes, and Chris Tran, our boy over here, brought up too.
Shout out to
the better coach?
Producer the show.
Who is the better coach?
Yeah, Indiana is.
Yeah,
I think at least, right? I mean, Ryan Day's good too, but again, that's probably a bit more coin flippy than I'm like flippantly just saying, well, Indiana does. But I mean, Kurt Cignetti's probably going to be your coach of the year. Here's the deal. I think for me personally, that is something that I'm really struggling with, like separating is like, I just think the Ohio State brand like sucks. Like if you're not an Ohio State fan, like why would you be? Like cheering for them's like cheering for the Yankees or anybody else, like cheering for Georgia or Alabama. Like if you didn't go there, why would you cheer for them? It does seem worse, but I think that's just probably a bit of our regional bias is my guess. Like if you're cheering for Ohio State, you're a cop, straight up. Gotta be.
But the difference is Georgia and Alabama, while they've been the big bad teams and they've recruited everyone at better players, at least they've won championships recently. Seems like Ryan Day has been able to put these rosters together, but they still can't win though. So it's just I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
John,
in the same category.
LSU. Indiana would beat the shit out of LSU right now, dude.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Man, I hope Indiana shows up and just proves all these people that just, we'll see. All right. But in the end, I do look, I got the Buckeyes winning. I wish this game was in Bloomington more than anything in my life, but I think the Buckeyes end up winning by, what's the spread on this game?
13.5. I
was going to say 10.
I was going to say 10 too.
Damn.
I think Ohio State wins. I think Indiana can keep it, can take the lead, keep it close to the first 2.5 quarters. I think Ohio State pulls away a little bit, maybe similar to like the Georgia-Tennessee game, but a little bit closer. Because I think, I don't know if I just feel like Ohio State has that killer in them right now. So we'll see.
RW Tyndall, if Indiana beats Ohio State, does Ohio State go after Cignetti to replace Ryan Day? Well, no, we should mention this. Kurt Cignetti just getting an 8-year extension. He's now making $8 million a year. He has a $1 million annual retention bonus. The total compensation of his new package, Aaron, $72 million, making Cignetti the highest paid Indiana employee in history. It's like I said, everybody's a basketball school until you win in football, Nobody cares more about any sport in this wonderful country in which we live that we're going to celebrate with turkey next week than winning in football. It's the best. Also, watch out. Sleeping Giant, Indiana, Aaron. They're paying their coach $8 million a year now. Okay. Mm-hmm. There's a commitment there. Get ready. All right. But I would say probably wins this weekend. Whatever. Freaking narcs. Next on the list, Ole Miss at Florida. Old Sunbelt black spot Billy done thrown it all back in my face. Made a lot of people eat crow this year as Billy Napier back against the wall all year long, deal with massive injuries, has this Florida team playing hard. He has a very good young quarterback in DJ Lagway who is playing very well right now and is playing hurt and still finding ways to be successful. He's probably coming off one of the biggest win, if not the biggest win of his tenure at Florida and dominating LSU in the swamp last week. However, as good as Florida is playing, Aaron, where would you rank Ole Miss right now in terms of the country in the current form that they're in?
I think I have Ole Miss as my number one team in the SEC. My top 12, Ole Miss is number 3 behind Oregon, Ohio State. I think they're playing great football. I think they remind me a lot of Ohio State, maybe even a little bit better, where quarterback's a big plus, receivers are a big plus, defense is a big plus. You just have a little bit of question marks about their offensive line. But that's a damn good football team that can get after you in a multiple of ways. And we do not know how healthy DJ is still with that hamstring.
So that is from somebody who just watched hours of Florida here recently. There were a lot of plays last Saturday where, look, DJ Lagway, clearly his legs are hurt, right? He doesn't have the running ability, which credit to him. That was my most impressed. That's why I was so impressed with him. The dude has a incredible arm talent. Incredible arm talent. And I don't mean just in terms of raw power. I mean like touch, placement, accuracy.
He's the most gifted. He's the most gifted quarterback in the SEC right now.
There you go.
He can do it all. He can do it all.
But right now, it appears that he's at least a bit hobbled running. LSU with Braden Swinson nearly got to him a few times. However, it just wasn't quite enough. The difference is this Ole Miss pass rush this year has just been an outlier in how good they've been. They're on a different level. And the same sacks that I saw him avoiding consistently last week, I don't see how he avoids them against Perkins, Uman Mielen, Jared Ivey, Pegues, Nolan, whoever else, Chris Paul. Like that defense is just too good right now, and they're going to get after a hobbled DJ Lagway.
I'll say this though, we focus so much on offense and quarterbacks, and because it's easy to do that. Florida's defense in the swamp, and just in general this year, has been pretty good.
Is that true? Because I kind of have the opposite.
Besides
Florida's defense, they're the second worst scoring defense in the conference. They just gave up 180 something rush yards to LSU. If you take the sacks out of it,
let's look at the last 5 games. They were dominant versus Tennessee on the road. Obviously, they killed Kentucky. That's Kentucky. Played a great game versus Georgia. Removed the Texas game. I think that's such an outlier. They literally, half their starting roster was not playing versus Texas. Like, no one gave a shit about that game. Like, I'm not even thinking about that game when it comes to stats and performance. LSU held them to 16 points. This defense is playing really damn well the past month and a half. So, and they're at home. So,
I mean, I don't know, dude.
A closer game than people think.
I don't know, dude. I mean, Florida gave up 455 total yards to Georgia. They gave up 562 to Texas, 375 to LSU.
Remove Texas. You have to remove Texas.
I don't think you do if you're talking about offensive Ole Miss's caliber.
I'm talking about from a perspective of Florida had a third-string quarterback starting for them, and they couldn't move the football.
I don't think Florida. Yeah, but that didn't have to. I get how that can affect.
It does have.
I get the knock-on effect. I know momentum and everything, and like belief, and cause you to kind of, well, what are we doing? Yeah. But what I'm saying is, I don't think Florida's defense is that good. I think they play hard. But I think Ole Miss is going to wreck them.
We'll see. Ole Miss, just like we talked about with Ohio State's offensive line, Ole Miss's offensive line is still improvement mode to me. Still improvement mode. That's going to be a loud, raucous, energized swamp. They're coming off a massive
Here's
win.
the deal, though. Do you expect Florida to score? Because I don't. And so, like,
I think
if you're
DJ's
telling
good. I
me,
think DJ's still good enough. Montreal's getting healthy. I think DJ's good enough with those receivers to score a little bit. I'm not trying to make a case for Florida to win. I'm just trying to make a case that this is going to be more interesting than what you're anticipating it's going to be.
what's the spread?
The spread is 10.5. This is a closer game than Indiana and Ohio State.
Chip Halverson saying you're talking from emotions. Rewatch if you can what they did to LSU in the trenches. So again, though, what they did to LSU in the trenches was beat up on a true freshman. A redshirt freshman at guard. I don't know. I don't think beating an LSU offense that has been one of the worst in the entire country over the last 3 weeks is that impressive to me. So I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Go back to the Georgia game. First half, Georgia only scored 6 points. And then DJ gets hurt. Backup quarterback comes in once again, and Georgia just seized momentum and just ran with it.
I think Ole Miss covers here. I'm not being sour grapes over Florida. I think they shot their nut last week the same way I picked Georgia to lose because the matchup and then to win because the matchup. I think Ole Miss is an awful matchup for Florida. I think they're good everywhere that Florida is weak. I think the fact that DJ Lagway is a bit hobbled plays right in Ole Miss's hands with that pass rush. I think they can sit back and play coverage and just send the front four and consistently make his life hard. And then who gets open for Florida against the secondary? And again, I think Ole Miss's offense is really, you want to talk about current form. I think they are really entering their own right now, and they're going to go on the road here and make a statement in the Swamp.
I think Ole Miss wins by 10. I'll take it with the hook.
Oh, damn, that exact, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I think Ole Miss pushes this thing in like 17.
I would feel better if Ole Miss didn't have the bye week. I think that bye week sucked for them. That just you have 2 weeks of reading your press clippings, people talking good about you, feeling like you're kings of the world because you beat Georgia, and then you have to sit for 2 weeks getting ready for this game. And Florida just came off an amazing win.
Yeah, well, both teams coming off big wins at that point. I mean, but also you during the bye week, you get healthy. You give Lane Kiffin an extra week to game plan against Billy Napier.
I just wonder, early game on the road, is it like we talked about with Ohio State? Are they a little bit slow coming out the gates and in Florida maybe knock them in the mouth and then Ole Miss kind of run away with it in the second half? But I think between early game, Florida's momentum after a week, you give Lagway another week to get healthy. Ole Miss maybe a little bit sluggish coming off the bye week. I think Florida may have a little bit of a hotter start.
Yeah, I mean, again, don't forget that LSU box score. I know what the score was, but like a better team and that score don't end like that. We'll see. We'll see what happens this weekend. I like Ole Miss big. Next game on the list, Colorado at Kansas. And Aaron, you have written quite the statement here to start our notes in our shared document. You wrote, Colorado is by far the best team in the Big 12. Talk on it.
The more, because I'll be honest, we talked about this yesterday. I have not watched a lot of Arizona State film. I've watched BYU sparingly this year, and then going back last night and then this morning to watch both of those teams as we prepared for this show. And then obviously watching Kansas last week as well. There's no doubt in my mind that Colorado is not the best team in that conference. They're the best quarterback. They're the best skill. Right now they're playing great defense. Their defense is getting after the quarterback. What area are any of these teams better?
I mean, you could
Colorado?
just say they have the best pass rush. They lead in sacks. I think that's
the best pass rush. Like the gap between where they're playing right now at the quarterback and skill position players is significantly greater than anyone else in that conference. Significantly greater.
Well, and they have the best player in Travis Hunter too, right?
Well, I mean, you look at a lot of mock drafts, you have the number 1 and number 2 pick in the NFL draft right now too.
Yeah, true.
I mean,
true. And so they're
I think people are just like they're checking off every box.
They're checking off the toughest boxes.
Yes.
Like in the past, they didn't have that. Now they're at least tough up front.
Yep.
How are they protecting the quarterback, do you feel, this year? And I know Shedeur is taking a ton of sacks, but that's kind of because of his style of
I think
play.
it's because of him mostly, though.
No, I know. That's what I'm asking. I'm saying, what's your evaluation of that Colorado
significantly
offensive line?
better? And like there's the running numbers will never be gaudy or amazing, but I feel like they're improved. Like they're actually trying to run the ball more this year. I need to look up like the difference in rushing offense for them right now compared to a year ago.
They're still only 77. Well, but again, you actually can't take Colorado rush yards into play because Shedeur sacks. But to your point, Aaron, it looks like maybe
10 yards more than they were a year ago. They're 10 yards more than they were a year ago.
I care more about the attempts. What are the attempts per game?
So last year was 358.
No, okay, so 29 attempts a game. Actually, that's at 28 this year. So no difference. Oh well, whatever. We're getting bogged down on this point.
Yeah.
So you think Colorado's the best team in the Big 12 by far? I think it's a very clear argument as to why that you just laid down. However, there might not be a more odd team in this conference than Kansas.
Yep.
You also wrote Kansas better than record. I completely agree with that. If you look at things like the S&P Plus, where Kansas ranks, every team around them's like 6-3, 7-2, 5-4, and here they sit with a losing record. And it's like, well, how does that happen? Like the analytics do not line up with their record. They just had a complete and utter disastrous start to the season. And it's interesting because it was against a couple teams that at the time we thought sucked. So we kind of wrote off Kansas completely. But look, you open the season, you play Lindenwood, whatever. But then you lose to Illinois, who we now know, oh, wait, Illinois is good. Like that's a good football team, ranked. Then you lose to UNLV. You're like, oh, UNLV, they suck. Oh, wait, no, UNLV's now ranked. They're good as well. They blew a game against West Virginia that they had in the bag. Up huge late in the fourth, somehow found a way to lose. They dropped to TCU, which is maybe the most inexplicable, not the best loss there. Then they lost to, again, a currently ranked Arizona State. So 3 teams that we thought sucked beat them, but actually these teams are good. Since then, they smashed Houston. They barely lose to Kansas State. And then they now have back-to-back ranked wins over Iowa State and BYU.
Yep.
So this is a Kansas team that, credit to Lance Leipold, very good coach, despite all of that awful start, kept this team together, and now they're looking for their 3rd ranked win in a row.
Well, it just comes down to Jalen's play. Jalen Daniels' play has been so much better as of late. I mean, you go back to early in the season, it's like 1 pick, 3 picks, 2 picks, another pick. I mean, just turnover after turnover after turnover. What happens with all these wins? He's not turning the ball over. He's protecting it. He's creating big plays. They do have good skill. I like their skill. I said this after the game this past weekend, watching versus BYU. They got guys that can move it. Maybe just because BYU looks that slow, but Devin Nail at running back, really good running back. Grimm at the receiving spot. So there's players. It's just they've been in their own way, going against good teams. And when you play good teams, you can't turn over the clip that Daniels was turning it over. So I think he's obviously calmed that down significantly. He's playing better. Everyone else around him is playing better. It's a good team. Like I said in my notes, their record is significantly better than their record. I just don't think that they're still anywhere near as good as Colorado.
Kansas with a pretty good pass rush as well. 3rd in the conference. They got 24 sacks in the year. They're 3rd in the conference in picks with 12. I think this is a really tight game. I think Colorado wins this like 32-29 or something like that. I think being on the road against a Kansas team that's kind of like, because remember, Kansas coming into the year
2.5-point spread. So I mean, they anticipate a close game.
Yeah, I mean, Kansas coming into the year and a lot of was kind of in a lot of places considered to be the Big 12 favorite. So hell hath no fury like a playoff team scorned. Like they had playoff aspirations, and now, when you have that disaster start, you can implode. But like I said, I think Leipold managed to rally this team, and now they just want to fuck people up. Like they just want to play spoiler. And I think they're going to give Colorado everything they want. I agree with the chat. I can't remember who made the point. Chip Havlicek. He said mobile quarterback is huge against Colorado. I believe that. And if Jalen Daniels plays a clean game here, then maybe even Kansas wins. But because of the reasons you said at the beginning, I like Colorado, like you said, like 32-29.
Yeah, I forgot this is a neutral site game because Kansas is playing all their games in Arrowhead this year. So the game will be in Arrowhead in Kansas City.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep.
How did I know that?
Yep. They're playing
Why they build a new stadium?
I don't know. Look it up. Kansas, though, third in the Big 12 in sacks with 24.
Yeah, so, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they got a pretty good. They're third in picks, third in sacks. They're very disruptive pass defense, so they should be able to make it a little hard on Shooter and company there. But to your point,
I think Colorado right now is just in the zone. Overwhelming. I think they're just in the zone right now. This is a team that's playing high level football. They know they're good. Confidence is a bitch, boys and girls. Confidence is a big part of this game. I think you have a Colorado team that now believes that they can play with anyone else in the country because they're proving it right now.
Aiden Lykowski says week 13 has a chance to be horrible luck for a lot of teams thinking they could be playoff ready. I agree with that. There's a lot of trappy sort of spots here, right?
I wouldn't consider this a trappy game. I know the record may fool you, but I don't think Colorado, because of the fact that Kansas has had the 2 wins they've had back-to-back against ranked teams, is overlooking them.
That's true. And because of who Kansas was even like last year and kind of the year before.
I mean, they literally have played 3 straight ranked games, lost by 2 to Kansas State, beat Iowa State, beat BYU. That team is 2 for 3 in ranked games the past 3 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it's a good point. Trappy is actually not a good way to describe this game. I would agree with that. Good counterpoint. Okay. So you how much do you like Colorado to win though?
I think they win by 4-7. I would take Colorado to with the points.
All right. Next up on the list, Army versus Notre Dame. And I'll say this. This is kind of like Ohio State, Indiana, where like, how in the world, unless you're just a Notre Dame fan as an outsider, how in the world could you be cheering for Notre Dame over Army? Really? Yes.
No, I disagree with that.
Oh, okay. I get it. Because you hate the troops. You hate underdogs. You hate
what is wrong with the Notre Dame brand in your mind? I love the Notre Dame brand.
No, Notre Dame brand's cool. The Notre Dame brand's fine. I mean,
but you can't put Notre Dame in the same spec category as Ohio State.
Yes, I can, because how can you not cheer for the kids that aren't allowed NIL money, have no money put in the roster, put together a 21-play 90?
Army. Yes. The argument for Ohio State was like no one can like Ohio State if you're not an Ohio State fan. People love Notre Dame brand. It's very different. I think you need.
I think I'm doing a bad job of communicating today.
You are,
because no, I think you need to open your fucking ears. I was just trying to be nice. I think no, bitch. I said it's like the other game. I'm not talking about. I'm not having a brand conversation.
Okay. I missed
but
the
it's
other
like the other game.
Yeah.
How the fuck could you cheer for Notre Dame, who has $10 to $15 million put into this roster? And here comes plucky old Army doing it for the country. No names on the back plate, no NIL money, no money invested. A quarterback who's currently second in the country when it comes to rushing touchdown. Bryson Daly's got 21 on the. How the fuck could you not cheer for Army here?
I get my Army haircut today. I support the troops. I love the troops, but go Notre Dame. Go fighting freaking Irish. Sexy man. Freeman. Let's roll, baby.
I will say this. So this is okay. So again, like Notre Dame, of course Notre Dame's going to win this game for all the reasons I just said. They got 20 more, they got infinitely more money.
They're bigger, they're more physical.
They're bigger, stronger, faster, all that shit. Like, of course, Notre Dame's going to win. Also, since that, and I usually TBob, what about Northern Illinois? Okay, well, look, I just cannot escape the parallels between like Ohio State losing to Virginia Tech that one year, a bad Virginia Tech team, and then kicking everybody else's ass. Like Notre Dame has won me over post Northern Illinois because they have dominated everybody they played. Like it hasn't even been close. It's been utter domination. Right now, this Notre Dame defense is currently number 1 in pass efficiency, number 1 in turnovers forced, number 3, and this is country rankings, number 3 in scoring, number 4 in the red zone, number 4 in yards per play, number 4 in yards allowed, in first downs allowed, number 6 in yards allowed a game, number 6 in third down percentage allowed, and number 7 in INTs. This is maybe the best defense in the entire country.
Please look at the chat on the screen.
I know that's a good point. That's a good point.
Great point. Notre Dame doesn't have names on their jerseys either.
Okay, fucking relax. Okay. For different reasons. Okay.
I mean, who doesn't fantasize over Marcus Freeman is my question to Chase. Who does not fantasize over Marcus Freeman?
I mean, he's easily the best looking coach in the entire country. We have talked about this
by far
many times.
I never want to introduce my wife to him.
Pass efficiency won't matter. Yeah, that is true.
That's not a good point.
But Notre Dame, whatever. But Notre Dame is a dominant defense in every sense of the word.
Please, I know this has nothing to do with the game, but the stats that you have comparing Notre Dame and LSU were mind blowing to me when you pulled that in the document.
Oh yeah,
my gosh.
See, to give Marcus Freeman his flowers. Remember, the whole reason Brian Kelly left Notre Dame was because of the glass ceiling, right? He couldn't get through it. Well, since that moment, since the start of the 2022 season, Brian Kelly is 26-11. Marcus Freeman is 28-8. Notre Dame has victories over 10 ranked teams in that span. LSU has 4. In 2024, the Irish are obviously 9-1, try receiver playoff spot, and LSU is 6-4. So no, the Brian Kelly Notre Dame breakup, Notre Dame is smashing.
Yeah. The ranked wins are the biggest thing to me.
I saw a stat. I wonder if I have it in this document or if it was just my radio show. Let me try a little Control F here.
Notre Dame has victories over 10 ranked teams, while LSU has 4.
Yeah.
That's the big one for me.
So that's actually Brian Kelly's worst part of his resume, especially compared to like Les Miles, Ed Ogeron. Those guys won 66% of their ranked games. I think he's at like 4-8 right now. Yeah. It has not gone well for Brian Kelly, which maybe sucks. I don't know. How about this? This is a tweet from Captain Cons, who I believe went to Army as a veteran, does the Zero Blog 30 Pockets Barstool. This weekend features, if you look at the two scoring defenses, Army, number 2 in the country, Notre Dame, number 3. If you look at rushing offense, Army, number 1, Notre Dame, number 12. You look at rushing touchdowns, Bryson Daly, number 2 in the country, Riley Leonard, number 13 in the country, 2 quarterbacks, right? If you look at turnover margin, Notre Dame, number 2 in the country, Army, number 6 in the country. I mean, these are 2 very solid, very good football teams. But again, it's, Notre Dame just has infinitely more talent. So,
yeah, I think just the lines of scrimmage, just how much bigger they are.
Yeah.
Why they run the offenses they run.
I'm cheering for
320 pound. I am.
I think they win, but I'm not cheering for them.
Go Notre Dame. What's the spread on this one? 14. I would take Army. I would take Army with the points, though.
I think the spread's so large because what happened in the Navy game, but we got to remember Navy hadn't even fumbled, I don't think, in the entire year, and then they fumbled like 3 times in the first
Good defense will do it to you, though. Good defense will do it.
No, they were bad fumbles. They were just handoffs and stuff.
I take Army,
and also Navy just got completely blanked by Tulane. So like, how impressive is the Navy win, really? No, I take Army plus 14. Hell yeah, I'm rolling Army plus 14. Dude.
All right, go Army plus 14.
What about this? What do you think of this? These are going to be the Notre Dame uniforms. I hate you don't
them.
Like them?
I freaking hate them.
I kind of like the smoke gray color.
Yeah, I hate the number. I think the number is awful.
This is
give me the shamrock. Give me the shamrock green.
I might be fucking dumb. You know what it is?
The numbers.
I think I like two. I think I've like played like too much like fantasy games like WoW or even something like Destiny where like this stupid number and it's super shiny gold. It looks like epic armor in a video game to me. I'm kind of into it. I'm kind of into it. I'm not gonna lie.
Have they worn the green this year yet?
I don't know. It seems like Chattanooga. I do love their greens though. I'm sure they have. I do love their greens. So nobody agrees with me. I think it looks cool, but whatever.
No,
nothing is cooler than the uniforms that Army revealed for Army Navy later this year, but we'll save that for Army Navy. All right. So I like Army plus the 14. I think, hold on. Do I honestly?
You're going back on it? I like Army plus 14.
Yeah, man. Yeah, fuck it. Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois. Give me Auburn plus 14. Let's roll. Next up on the list, our final game of the day, that is BYU at Arizona State. Arizona State, one of the most surprising teams in the entire country, coming off of a statement win. Remember, last week on the road in Little Manhattan, there were 2 7-2 teams that were 4-2 in the conference squaring off with one another. So it's not like Arizona State caught Kansas State dead and eliminated. Mm-hmm. It's not like they caught them unawares. In fact, Aaron, we accidentally missed a playoff Thunderdome. That was a playoff Thunderdome. That was. Think about it. Both teams. You have to win that game to continue your quest for the Big 12 title. If you lose, you're out. And who fucking won on the road? Arizona State. And they dominate. I mean, they jumped out to a 24-0 lead. Here. They just kicked their ass from the very beginning of the game. So Arizona State, if you have not watched them yet, Aaron's been watching them. They're a team that has gotten better and better and better as the year has gone on, and they're playing their best football right now.
They're playing their best football right now. I think their quarterback's playing at a high level. Their running back's healthy. Scattaboo. Don't you just love the name Scattaboo? Cam Scattaboo is a beast, both in the backfield and coming out of the backfield. We talked about Sam Levitt yesterday a little bit. I think he's playing really good football right now, taking care of it. I think you asked me earlier about the Ohio State and Indiana game, who I thought was the better quarterbacks, and would that maybe give an edge? I do think Arizona State has the edge at the quarterback spot here.
I agree.
I think they have an edge at skill spot here. Jordan Tyson is a beast on the outside. 58 catches on the year, 9 touchdowns. I think he's a really good Arizona State team. I like them, and they're at home.
I'll say this: both of these teams play very clean football. It's interesting because neither one is very statistically overwhelming in any regard. But then you look and they're tied for first in the Big 12 with a +9 turnover ratio. They're 3rd and 5th in time of possession. Like, they just play solid football. But the difference is, I can look at what you just talked about. Scattaboo, Tyson, a bit of Levitt. Like, I can see how Arizona State got here. If you just look at BYU on paper, and honestly, Aaron, even watching some of their games, I still don't know how they got here. Like, it's one of the most confusing whole is greater than the sum of its parts teams that I've seen. Like, I think Arizona State objectively looks to be far better here.
I wouldn't say far better.
Not far better. But I do think they look to be better.
They escaped against Utah. They escaped against Oklahoma State. I like it. Listen, there's something to be said about finding ways to win football games. I mean, listen, I agree. They also gave SMU their only loss of the season. This is a really good football team.
Yeah, they've got two ranked wins right now. BYU does.
Yeah. So, like, I don't want to just BYU finally lost. We're waiting for BYU to finally lose one after what they've been playing as of late, but does not mean that it's a bad football team. I still think it's a good football team. I just think right now, the way that Arizona State's playing and the way their offense is playing, the way their quarterback's executing, the way they're running the football, I think they're going to be capable of making plays down the field because of what I saw last week Kansas was able to do against that defense of BYU.
Yeah, I think the other problem here is I don't really believe in Retzloff, the quarterback for BYU. I think he's okay. But I agree that I think Levitt's already better. He takes care of the ball more. He's a bit more efficient. They ask him to do a bit less, which helps. But, like, I don't believe in Retzloff. And the thing is, BYU seems to rely on him quite a bit, Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
There is no Scattaboo or anything else to kind of take some of the pressure off. Also, you mentioned, I went back and watched it. That was a god-awful pick.
Oh,
right,
my God.
last week to kill what would have
I had to watch it like 5 times to see if it was – I had to go back and watch it from like every angle multiple times to see if it was tipped. I was like, that ball had to have been tipped. It just had to be tipped. Like, how could you throw a red zone fade 5 yards inside the receiver? Like, it was horrendous. And no, it wasn't tipped. It was just a really bad pass. Really. And then early in the game, multiple passes, guys are wide open, unable to execute on those ones. So when it comes down to big time football games, two teams are playing well. You know where I lean. Who's playing better at the quarterback position?
Arizona State. What time is this game?
3:30. So 1:30 local.
What a perfect day in Tempe.
Oh,
it's high of 77, low of 50. The home crowd is going to be electric. Arizona State, they've had great success at times in their football past, right? All of a sudden, they're back to life. Everybody's going to be at this game partying their fucking faces off, going crazy. I think this is an awful spot for BYU the more we talk about this. One area they do have an advantage in, Aaron, special teams. That's how they beat Kansas State. It's how they've won games this year at BYU. I'm talking about here. They're 16th in the country for their S&P Plus special teams rating. Arizona State's 126th. So in a close game, that could end up being the difference. But I think the difference is the home crowd, the advantage at quarterback, kind of the star players at the skill position that State has. I think Dillingham and Arizona State, I think would this punch their ticket to the Big 12 championship? Or damn near. You might have to win the last game. Doesn't matter. But I think they take the next step to that Big 12 championship.
So I think it may punch their ticket.
It doesn't matter.
Because they would have the head-to-head over BYU. And then I think it'd just be between them, Iowa State, and Colorado. But I think it may punch their ticket, though.
Either way, though, like, obviously, it's in the Big 12. You just got to keep winning. And I think Arizona State doesn't. I think they take the next step after eliminating Kansas State. I think they make it 2 for 2 and they eliminate BYU.
The two worst coaches in the Big 12 going to be squaring off possibly for the Big 12 championship. Let's go.
Crazy.
Let's go.
Who knows though? Maybe Kalani Sitake and those Stormin' Mormons got a little trick up their sleeve. What's the spread here?
The spread is Arizona State -3.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
I would take Arizona State to cover.
I'll take Arizona State to cover too.
3.5. I don't know. 3. I'm there. Oh wow. So both those games are at 3:30 this week in Colorado, Kansas State, and BYU, Arizona State. All right, that'll do it for today's show, guys. Did I miss OU Bama, or is that on the docket today?
Yeah. What?
Should we have talked to OU Bama?
The only SEC game that's worth mentioning is Auburn maybe at home upsetting A&M if A&M's looking past to Texas. That
okay. Then to end today's show, since you just set that up, we got to play the Mike Elko clip. Have you heard this?
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
Okay.
Oh my!
So, speaking of looking past Auburn to Texas, here we go.
There's already so much talk about
November
30th.
I'm sorry. Normally I do this in separate windows. Bad play on me. I hear you.
There's already so much talk about November 30th, and it was announced as a night game today. How do you deal with that with your guys and saying, hey, we still have something ahead of us at Auburn, or is that even a big issue with your team?
I don't think it's an issue. I think when you're in the situation we're in, it's easy to focus on the task at hand. I think, those big games earlier in the year, maybe you look ahead. If we didn't have at stake what's at stake, maybe you would worry about it. I think our focus is single-handedly on on Auburn right now and locked in on what we got to get done.
Oh, no. Guys.
So much talk about.
Let me pause this. Have you ever, do you know the term Freudian slip, Aaron?
That's what just happened.
Because that is the text book definition of a Freudian slip there. An unintentional error in speech, memory, or action that's thought to be caused by unconscious thoughts or desires. Yeah. Our focus is solely on who is calling me, dude. I hate.
All right, everyone.
Oh, it's my wife. All right, we gotta go. All right, we love you. We will be back on Thursday with another episode of Snaps. See you guys next time. Please like, subscribe.